California as, well, crime. Let's bring in California GOP Chairwoman Jessica Milan Patterson and the owner of Lobos Boxing Club here in L.A., Eddie Arrazola. Thank you both for coming on. To you first, Jessica, because you deal in this. You know you're in elections all the time. These people, they run for office, they ruin these cities, and then they move on, they go up, and they go up the chain of command, but there's no consequences. The problem is they go in and ruin these cities with impunity.
And let's be very clear. It's not just politicians. It's Democrat politicians in these Democrat-run cities. We've seen everything from Prop 47 to Prop 57, AB 109, which have been all pro-criminal policies. It shouldn't surprise anyone. When we're putting more criminals out on the street, they're going to commit more crimes. I think that Berkeley should be a sounding alarm to the rest of the country. These policies don't work. And the damage may be already done, and it might be too little too late, because recruiting the police officers and hurting their funding as the way he did, it might be too much to come back from in Berkeley.
Yeah, I mean, you had Dan Springer talking, Eddie, and we see this in Oakland, these business owners that nobody's going to come to lunch in their place because they're not allowed outside of their building. You know, the whole problem is that they won't even report the crimes because they're so afraid of their insurance rate going up. Here's a couple of other business owners, what they have to say, and I'll get your response.
Literally within minutes, they brought their own trash bag and were filling it with beauty products and jackets. I've been waiting out failed policy for 3 years.
From what I understand, it takes a really long time to prosecute anyone who's has been caught breaking and entering. It's very rare they are even caught.
I mean, you own a boxing gym, so nobody's really going in stealing stuff, or there are consequences when you walk in the door of Eddie's place. But you have to feel for the other businesses around the state and surrounding states that are getting hurt.
Yeah, absolutely. There's been, especially on us on Melrose, there's been a bunch of businesses that have gone out of business in the last year. So that affects us too, because people aren't shopping, they're not going to come, they're not going to see the gym, they don't feel safe. And most of what I've heard from the business owners is that they couldn't afford to keep repeating the process of getting robbed, and if they do report it, the insurance goes up. If they don't report it, they're losing their stuff. So
it's lose-lose.
It's lose-lose no matter what.
Charles Barkley made the thing. Heard Dan Springer earlier. He said the following, quoting here, San Francisco during the All-Star game, he described it as a city with a homeless crooks. And when someone said, no, it's not, we can walk around down there, yeah, with a bulletproof vest. What are your thoughts?
I think Sir Charles hit it right on the nose. You know, this is someone who's a massive basketball player who does not feel safe in the streets of San Francisco. Just last month, we had a former MMA fighter turned food critic who cut his trip short in the Bay Area because it was unsafe. These are the policies of regressive Democrats that are hurting our communities, and it's hurting once beautiful cities and turning them into what we see now. We have 50% of the nation's unsheltered people. When you drive around a place like San Francisco, it's not hard to believe.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, we were talking about this, Eddie, earlier, was the Kansas City, the Super Bowl that was there. There was the shooting there, one person killed, 22 injured. And the governor of Missouri called these people, we don't know exactly who they are because they're juveniles and haven't been identified, called them thugs. And you had the mayor saying that it was a racist dog whistle. And you're thinking, what? I don't quite understand what the thing is. They haven't identified anybody, but, you know, they're protecting some of these people who are committing some heinous crimes.
You know, Charles Barkley nailed it on the head. He's just calling it how he sees it. And rather than try to sugarcoat what it is, it was thug behavior. Regardless of who it was, that was thug behavior. Charles Barkley is calling the city what it is. It's a trash can right now.
Yeah.
He's not scared to say what the truth is.
Yeah. Your final thoughts on this, Jessica?
I think we need to keep our eye on the ball. This was supposed to be a celebration. What the mayor should be focused on is the crimes that were committed.
Yeah, and the people who were affected by the crimes that were committed. Jessica, thank you. Eddie, good to see you as always. Well, meantime, the group Truckers for Trump are now refusing to drive to New York.